This book is called Nick Joins In. It was written and illustrated by Joe Lasker. The man who created this book, Joe Lasker, is over 100 years old now. He has a collection of his papers and his artwork at Syracuse University. You can find it there in the Special Collections Research Center. He is an amazing force of nature who has done all kinds of artwork, studied all over the world, and has a great love for young learners. This is why he has created so many books for young readers. He was a visiting professor at the University of Illinois, and he's had his work in major museums such as the Guggenheim and the Whitney Museum of American Art. Nick was scared. He didn't know what to expect. Soon he would be going to school instead of school coming to him. No longer would a teacher visit his home. Nick's mother had told him, "You'll be going to school the way other children do. You won't be so lonely anymore. Before you start, we'll visit your school. We'll meet your new teachers and her aide. We'll meet your new teacher and her aide." Nick, who couldn't walk or run, was worried. "How will I go up and down the stairs?" he asked himself. "Will I be as smart as the other children? Will they want to play with me?" Nick talked to his parents. "How can I go to school in my wheelchair?" he asked. "What if the kids don't like me? Will there be anyone else who can't walk?" His mother said, "Nick, at first the other children will stare at you and ask questions. You'll all feel a little strange with each other. But after a while, you'll get used to each other and be friends," his father said. On and on, Nick's questions tumbled out. His parents grew tired of them, but they knew this was Nick's way of getting ready for school. "We understand why you feel worried," they said. Nick felt a little better. Meanwhile, the school was getting ready for Nick. Over the steps, workers built a ramp for his wheelchair. A special desk was brought into Mrs. Becker's classroom. She told her children that the desk would be used by a new boy. She told them about Nick and his wheelchair. "Will the new boy be like us?" asked Timmy. "Will we catch what he has?" asked Nina. "No, it's not catching," Mrs. Becker said. On Wednesday morning, a small yellow bus carried Nick to his school. A teacher's aide met the bus. "We hope you like our school, Nick," she said. Then the aide pushed him up the new ramp, through big doors, and into a long hallway. Inside the school, children rushed everywhere. Never before had Nick been among so many boys and girls. A bell clanged loudly. It frightened him. The children all disappeared into their classrooms. Many doors faced the hallway. If he were ever alone, Nick thought, how would he find the right door? He looked for things to help him remember where to go. The aide wheeled Nick through one door, and he knew he was in his classroom. Everyone in the room looked at Nick. Mrs. Becker smiled at him. "We're glad you're here," she said. Then she introduced him to the boys and girls. Nick wondered if he'd ever remember all their names. He stared at the floor, wishing he were back home. No one spoke. Then Mrs. Becker said, "Nick, I think the children would like to ask you some questions. Is that all right?" Nick nodded, still looking down. Slowly his classmates gathered around. Rachel asked the first question. Why do you have to use a wheelchair? Because I can't walk, Nick said, not looking at her. Why can't you walk? Asked Nina. Because my legs don't grow right. Why is that? Asked Timmy. Nick looked at him. I was born that way. Cindy pointed to the braces on Nick's legs. Why do you wear those? She said. They help me stand, Nick told her. When Mrs. Becker thought the children had satisfied enough of their curiosity, she said, All right, boys and girls, it's time to begin our work. She helped Nick get settled. Then it was his turn to look around and satisfy his curiosity. Nick looked at all the children. He looked at his teacher and at the bright pictures on the walls. He looked around for a long time. He didn't feel so scared anymore. He decided he might like school. Days went by. Nick and the other children grew used to each other. They learned from one another. Without being asked, people helped Nick. Nick helped people too. Sometimes he helped the gym teacher open windows with the long window pole. Nick made friends. One of them was Timmy. Timmy needed special help too. Not from children, but from his teachers. Nick loved recess. For the first time in his life, he played outdoor games with children. He couldn't run like Timmy, but he moved fast. What Nick wished for most was to play ball like the others. How fast and high they jumped and darted. To Nick, that was like flying. One afternoon, there was a ball game. Higher and higher the ball went until it landed on the roof of the gym. The ball rolled to the edge of the roof, but instead of dropping down, it stuck in the rain gutter. All the children groaned. Oh! Timmy threw a basketball to jar the ball out of the gutter, but the ball didn't move. Nina threw a stone, but that didn't help. A teacher lifted Ben onto his shoulders, but Ben still couldn't reach high enough. Oh, we'll never finish our game, complained Timmy. Nick had an idea. He wheeled away from the playground. He rode through the open gym door, past the tall gym windows, straight to the corner where the window pole was. He took the pole and wheeled back outside. The children looked helplessly at the stuck ball. Everyone had given up. Nina saw Nick coming. Nick to the rescue, she shouted, in the nick of time. Excuse me, please, said Nick, wheeling through the crowd. He held the slim pole tightly. No one was going to take it from him. He stopped under the gutter and looked up. He raised the pole and poked the ball loose. Down it dropped. Hooray for Nick! Everybody cheered. Nick felt he was flying. The end. And when he dedicated this book to Caroline, Joe Lasker included this quote from U.S. Public Law 94-142. A free, appropriate public education must be guaranteed for all handicapped children. Whenever possible, handicapped children will be educated alongside non-handicapped children, a practice known as mainstreaming. In 1990, U.S. Senator Tom Harkin from Iowa helped pass the Americans with Disabilities Act. 4 years later, this law made it possible for young students like Nick to go to school in a way that they had not been able to before. With artwork that goes back and forth between colors and black and white presentations, this book has been Nick Joins In, written and illustrated by Joe Lasker.